Good evening, boys and girls. The Crimson Parade was on display tonight.
Yes, it was.
For the first game of the 2024 season, Kalen DeBoer makes his debut as the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. But before we get into anything, you guys know the drill. We need you to like, share, subscribe. Hey, special shout out to everybody in MJ's X chat. Happy to have you with us. We're going to react to everything that's happened today in college football, everything that's still happening. I've got the Notre Dame Texas A&M game on right here. Oh,
same here.
I see what you did, Joe.
Jeffrey.
Boys, how are we feeling? Initial reactions. Tell us in the comments, chat. Initial reactions. What are you feeling?
Roll damn Tide.
All right. Bill's not holding back.
I'm liking this thing right here.
That's good looking, man. I like the eight.
See that big egg down there?
That zero right there?
That's what I see.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm looking at a Sega Genesis.
Sega!
You're looking at that's NES, baby. Sega can't touch that 8-bit.
That's what was the old one called with the joystick before any of that?
Commodore
Atari.
64.
Atari.
Atari.
I raised and all that.
Yeah.
Atari, yeah.
What's going on, Daniel? We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to everything. You guys are already super
Got an
live in
update.
chat. Really happy.
Do-do-do-do-do-do. What's your update?
Tell us. Yeah, we're already getting comments. TJ Olson not happy about the flags in the first half.
That's weird.
Hey, they had 6 in the first quarter and 7 for the whole game, so that got cleaned up.
Yeah, it did get cleaned up.
You don't remember TJ?
Roll Tide. Wait, is that the TJ?
That's the TJ.
Is that Crimson Leaf TJ?
Yes.
TJ, what's up, man? It's been a minute, dude. I was like, that name sounds familiar. What's up, T? Roll Tide. Bless my heart, I saw Murder Ball.
It was.
Oh, what's going on, Keith? Lots of work to be done. TJ Finley did come in talking a lot of smack, and it didn't go well. My favorite part about tonight, I think, was all the Auburn fans all week long that were like, TJ Finley's got the funniest thing, or the chance to do the funniest thing ever. And then he comes in and throws 2 picks in 6 minutes.
He's the funniest thing ever.
He didn't make it to halftime.
Yeah.
Douchebag didn't even make it to halftime.
TJ, remember blowing smoke, man? Roll Tide. I think I got everybody.
Maybe.
Roll Tide. All right. Big win for multiple reasons. This is obviously Kalen DeBoer's first win as Alabama's new head coach. And he did it in typical Alabama style. I will say, yes, it was messy for about a half there. I did not expect that, to be honest. I expected that to be a little messy on defense, but it was kind of the other way around. We saw a lot of those same issues offensively that we've seen for the last 2 seasons. So, a couple bad snaps. I know everybody got a little PTSD from that.
Yeah, a lot of PTSD, but that's all right.
Milroe missed a couple easy throws, taking off running sometimes when he probably shouldn't have. Offensive line had some bust, and then the flags, a lot of penalties, as TJ said in the chat. So, my initial thought was, these are a lot of the same problems that Alabama's had the last 2 seasons. Why have they survived Nick Saban? Initial thoughts on that, gentlemen?
Well, it takes more than a game to beat out old habits. They do die hard. So
They do die hard.
I think it's going to take more than 4 quarters to knock all those things out, to work through those things. I mean, Debo said it himself.
Yeah.
We needed a game like this where we slaughtered like we were supposed to, but there's a ton of coaching opportunities to come out of this.
Yeah, and there definitely are
A bunch.
Some of the glaring,
very sloppy.
I felt like most of the issues were offensively or offensive issues. I was shocked at how, I will say, let me preface what I'm about to say. I did see a few plays where there were obvious busts by Alabama secondary, and if we were playing a better team, they would have exploited that. But I think that's made up for with this defense is extremely aggressive. Extremely
They
aggressive. I don't know if it's
were
because they're
flying.
young, but then, yeah.
What's that?
I lost Michael's audio.
Chris, can you hear
There
me?
we go. I got you now.
Hi, guys. No, I was talking
Hey.
about that aggressive defense, and Jeff, I was asking you if you were kind of, if that's what you were expecting, or
Yes, I was expecting them to fly all over the place, and I was expecting them to hit, just because I knew that they were tired of hitting each other. Like Debo said, they were ready to hit somebody else. And I mean, I love Key Robinson sack. That was awesome. Great technique.
yeah, beautiful.
So that was cool.
Yeah, Keith, this was my biggest takeaway. Our defense is very fast, very
Very
Yes.
fast.
fast.
And
That the swarm defense is showing up.
yeah, they definitely did that. They certainly did that. I noticed Red Morgan had a great game overall. There were
Very.
a couple of plays that he busted on.
Yeah.
I've been telling you guys for weeks, you give this secondary, they're very young. You've got a lot of pieces from different places. You give them a couple of weeks to mesh, and it's gonna be insane. Roll
Yeah.
Tide K-Spray, what's going on?
What's up, K-Spray? We just, you got to remember, these guys this is the first live reps they've had.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I talked about this in the show last week. I felt like Western Kentucky was probably one of the best opponents to start off with, just in the sense that they're an air raid offense, and it was going to give that secondary the test they needed.
Yeah.
Stop our running plays, though. Stop over running plays, though. Well, I think they kept things kind of vanilla, man.
Yeah, you're not going to see really anything in the first two games for sure. A little bit more in game 3.
Yeah.
But you'll see a lot in game 4.
Yeah, you will see a lot of things in game 4 you haven't seen. You'll start to see that door opening when we go to Wisconsin in 2 weeks. There's stuff that they're going to be doing against Georgia that they haven't even started working on yet. They won't start working on until that bye week. So
I agree.
I don't know why Bill and Chris keep popping out of here, but let's try this again.
Oops. Sorry, I got him in there.
I'm back.
There it is. So, Bill, what was your
know.
overall feeling about this defense? What did it feel like to you? Keep it in perspective. This is Western Kentucky.
Right.
It's not like we went and beat Ohio State, but
All right. So first half, they were on the field for 22 of 30 minutes.
yeah.
So
absolutely.
we saw them getting gassed. I love the swarm. I love the intensity. And it's not that it wasn't there with Saban. It's just different. There was a matter. It was just this. I mean, you've got a 300-pound defensive lineman chasing down running backs on the outside. So
Yeah.
there's. I love the intensity. Of course, the 2 picks could have been 3 by Sab. It looked like they were in a good flow, especially in the second half.
Sure.
First half, again, I think they were just juiced on having been on the field for 80% of the time.
Yeah, but they
I
locked it
like
down.
what I saw.
They locked it down where it matters. I mean,
That's right.
Western Kentucky had a drive of 21 plays and came away with 0 points. I
Yeah,
don't know
0
if that's ever
points.
happened before.
At that time, Alabama
It was like
had
10 or
20
11 minutes long.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
at that time in the game, Alabama had 21 total plays and 35 points.
Yeah, they were scoring. And that, something
Right.
else that I think Chris said to me in text, and maybe it was Jacob, but they were scoring very quickly. A couple of the big one. We're going to talk about Ryan Williams because I know everybody's excited about that. But we were scoring quickly.
But
And that
we
defense
we
was
said we said this after spring ball. This offense is going to score quickly, and that's exactly what we had happen.
Yeah, they did. They did. I'll be honest. There was some stuff from Milroe I saw early that I wasn't happy with. I kind of felt like it was very reminiscent of some of the problems he was having last year. I do like the fact that the the issues with the offensive line in that first quarter seemed to iron themselves out as the game went on. I
Right.
think some of that may have been,
As-
Caden Proctor all of a sudden hurts himself in
Yeah.
warm-ups.
That
And is
throws
now-
everything off.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
first sack
Yeah.
on Milrow
It was on Mitchell.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was on, from that left
But he
side.
also held the ball for about 9 seconds.
That's true.
And it's like, but like you said, the first series
the bad
you saw him hold the ball too long, and then he missed a short throw, and it's like those are the two things about Milrow that we harped on was
Yeah,
holding the ball too long and missing easy throws.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
You're
he did
probably
both
right.
of those in the first series.
Keith, you're
but he
right.
settled in.
Yeah, Keith's right. I think
Right.
everybody was jacked up. It's game one. You're finally getting to go against somebody else other than your teammates. And the pace is different. The intensity is different.
Yeah.
I think
Live reps are different.
I think Milrow only had 2 incompletions for the game.
Yeah.
And they were early. The
yes.
bad snap that was over his head, I think that was Rock Montgomery. I don't think that was Parker Brailsford.
I don't remember. I'll have to go back
Yeah,
when I
I'll
rewatch it.
take a
I'll have to
look,
go back and check.
I want to say that was, I may be wrong, but I think it was Rock Montgomery. I think Brailsford's helmet came off and Rock went in, I think.
Now I know
And,
that happened earlier in the game. I don't know if that was that
Yeah.
sequence where that.
No,
happened,
but it
I know
was
that
in the
did happen
first
early
half.
in the
It
game.
wasn't that first drive, but it
I
was
don't think
early in the game.
Brailsford played the first snap. I think that was the very first snap of the game where Brailsford's helmet came off, and he didn't get to something.
Right.
He did.
Yeah.
Interestingly
As
enough,
expected.
he only threw the ball 9 times. So obviously they were wanting to work on getting that running game started, getting that offensive line gelled. I think that was even said during the game that was going to be a big focus, is kind of getting these guys used to playing with each other. But Bill, you're right. Yeah, he went 7 for 9, but he went for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, not to mention the one he had on the ground.
And he had two on the
ground.
two on the ground.
Yeah.
279 and 5 tubs tonight. If anybody needs him,
Say it again.
Yeah.
he went 279 and 5 tubs tonight. If anybody needs him,
That's wild. Now, I will say
Yeah.
this is that week where everybody's putting up points. I think Auburn put up like 73. Ole Miss was at 76 when I finally stopped checking that score update. So a lot of people are putting
no, I
up.
was on the last touchdown to get us in the 70 realm, and I was like,
I was.
I'll tell you who's not putting up points right now is Texas A&M and Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's a crazy.
And
what's that Idaho Oregon score? It was 17-14 a minute ago.
No,
and Florida didn't put up much.
we'll get to that in a minute. The Michigan.
That's y'all's sleeper team, Florida.
Shut up, Jeff. That was not my sleeper team. I just said that they could beat somebody they're not supposed to.
Look,
It's called a
I
sleeper.
apologize to the interworld.
Thanks for calling me. I was
Go ahead,
wrong.
Bill.
man.
Go ahead,
Sometimes I'm
Bill.
wrong.
Go ahead, Bill.
Sorry, Bill.
I want to apologize to the interwebs for having some form of hope in the Florida Gators.
Dude,
Uh,
I think we just all wanted to see them beat Miami, and
yeah,
they could do it 'cause
absolutely.
it was at home. But man, I watched that game. Graham Mertz
Sucks.
was-
I mean,
no,
Sorry.
he's terrible. He's
I meant to
terrible.
say he sucks. I mean, dang it. Not
Hey,
sucks, but sucks.
DJ Lagway is definitely the future of that program, but the problem is their defense may be worse than it was last year. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pitiful.
I mean, Cam Ward's a good quarterback. Nick Saban talked about him on game day this morning, but he's not that good.
No, Miami's not that good. What you've got is an average team going against an awful team.
We're about to get here too, Keith. So,
But
the guy-
I did a one word reaction for a lot of games today.
Yeah.
So for Florida, Miami, I said this was the first night in Shawshank for Florida.
that's tough, man. I feel really bad for Billy Napier. You know,
Yeah,
Nick Saban,
and he's such a great guy.
yeah, Nick Saban was lobbying for him this morning. A lot of people may not have picked up on that, but what he was saying
Yeah.
about these schools need to give their coaches time, he was referencing Billy
Yeah.
Napier.
And if you look behind
Had
me,
time, unfortunately.
if you look behind me,
Man.
that's Saban Field right there behind me.
Yeah. But Florida is
And
probably
Alabama went 63-0 on Saban Field tonight.
Well, look, Saban was lobbying for Billy Napier. So I'm just
Yes, he
saying.
was.
But
I
the-
like
I don't know
Billy.
why.
Napier,
Billy
Napier
showed me nothing.
Yeah, the Napier experiment in Gainesville is all
Over.
I've met Billy. Billy is a great human being, and he's a smart coach. I think his gift is a position.
Not a good head
coach.
one.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
that seems to be Florida's issue. They keep pulling these coordinators, and they're all lifetime coordinators. None of
I
them
mean,
are
they keep
good.
hiring Saban assistants. It's like
Yeah.
So where
you,
do
know,
they
you may
go?
have to try something else.
Hey, maybe they throw $20 million at Nick Saban and bring him out of retirement. He can revive that program.
Yeah.
They're
But does-
they're bringing in the lane train.
But does
Dude.
Nick?
I'd throw the kitchen sink at him, man.
Yeah. But does Nick Saban want to be sitting in an office down the hall from Steve Spurrier?
No,
Hell
that was
no.
a joke.
Maybe-
It was 100% a
The
joke.
dictator is going to be
Yeah.
sitting right where he's sitting in the press box at Brian Denny every Saturday, cutting up with his former players.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
Keith,
think. Yeah.
So
I
I
think
think
right now the leader in the clubhouse for Florida is going to be Lane.
Yeah.
But more than likely they'll go with somebody in the atmosphere we hadn't thought about.
yeah, because I don't know if
Yeah.
Lane is gettable out of school like
No,
that. That is
no.
he's going
Maybe
to have
not.
to build it from the ground up. Yeah, they've
His
got a
daughter-
history, but
His daughter said this week, "You've made me move too often. I don't want to keep moving."
Yeah.
And so
that makes
we'll
sense.
see.
I get that.
I mean, they would have to throw a lot of money at him. It's not out of the realm of
Coach was like-
possibilities, but I don't
Now we know he likes little green rectangles. That's a fact. Money, little green
Oh.
rectangles.
Sorry, I thought you were making a perverted joke. I don't know why.
Yeah, I didn't know where you're going with that.
Well, we're talking about Lane, so a perverted joke is
Oh.
fitting.
So I
But
think we're all in
was fitting.
agreement. Florida was definitely the worst showing of the day.
we're in agreement too.
Yeah. Florida is sorry. Yes, we're in agreement. Thank you, Bill. I told you to call me out on it. It's not a real word, and I use it all the time. We are in agreement that Florida was the worst showing of the day. But another team that had a very awful showing, and Keith has already alluded to this, was Clemson. And I wanted to get your
Oh,
initial thoughts on the Clemson Tigers of the ACC, who were immediately my favorite to win the conference after FSU lost to Georgia Tech a week ago. But that is no longer the case. I think the conference belongs to Miami.
well, or Georgia Tech.
And
So,
yeah.
all right. So, if I'm doing one word thoughts on games today, my word for it's not one word, but many of you might remember when Dennis Green had a press conference after a game, and he talked about I don't remember who it was against, but he said they are
Bears.
what we thought they were.
The Bears. That was against the
Yeah.
Bears. He was
And,
the Cardinals coach. That was against the
Georgia
Bears.
is what we thought they are. They're pretty damn good. And Clemson is what we always thought they were. They're pretty damn mediocre. I mean, Clemson.
I would like to add the caveat that Georgia offensively is exactly what I said. I think
yes.
Georgia is the best defensive team in the country after what I saw in week 1. But I think offensively, they're good. Don't get me wrong, but they're not some superstar offense. I think that you saw that in the first half of that game. Carson Beck really struggled. Yes, the Nick Saban Verbo commercial is amazing. Carson Beck really struggled without
It's
Ladd and oh my gosh, Bowers. But they kind of tweaked some things in the second half, and they just wore Clemson down because Clemson's defense is actually a very good defense. They just spent the entire game on the field.
that's
Georgia
right.
is very, very beatable. But what I would
Yeah, I would agree with that.
what I would have to see to be confident in Alabama beating Georgia in week 4 is that third, fourth quarter before the other guys came in, offense, all 4 quarters. And I said it last week, like that's the one thing I was looking for was some kind of consistency. Last year, you'd get a different offense per quarter, and that kind of continued a little bit today. And so I'm a little shaken up by that. But we can always attribute that to being first game jitters, this and that. Roll Tide. I can't put your comment up here.
Is that AK Deer? Is that AK Deer in the chat?
Maybe. AK Deer's
Come
in the chat.
on. Notre Dame just scored with less than 2 minutes to go.
If you're AK
So
Deer,
now we're going to hear all of the Notre Dame for the title and whoever they've got for Heisman.
look, either Texas A&M and Notre Dame have two of the best defenses in college football, or neither.
It's a good game. Actually, it's a very good game.
Yeah. Or neither team is good. But let's go back to Alabama. We already had some questions about Caden Proctor. So what we know is that, and you guys, that post-game presser should be coming any minute. So I'm sure Coach DeBoer
It just wrapped up.
Yeah, so I'm sure Coach DeBoer will address it. But pretty much, I think he dinged himself in pregame warmups. I'll be honest,
That's what it sounds like.
yeah, I don't know that it's going to be some significant injury. They had him iced up and in a sling. If it was going to be something big, they probably would have got him somewhere for x-rays,
Yeah.
something like that. Why not go put on street clothes when you're not going to play the rest of the game? If Nick Saban was there, it may have kept him in a jersey. I don't know. But
They said shoulder injury during warmups, probably a hyperextension. Maybe
Yeah.
not a separation, but I would guess a hyperextension.
yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play against USF.
As long as it's not rotator cuff, that's when it's bad.
Yeah, that ice pack
And-
was sitting kind of
and
high.
the-
That's the one
The
thing I did.
problem, the problem is you got about because I've had
Zach?
shoulder problems and had all the scans on this shoulder right here.
Well,
just
you're
recently.
175 years old, so
Yeah, but you've got about 25 muscle groups right there, and that make up the cuff. And so, I've got a partial tear in one of them,
Mhm.
and so it came from just a simple action. So,
Yeah, I mean-
that happens.
yeah, and Proctor's a big dude.
Yeah,
So, I mean, who
and
knows?
he's a big dude. So just think about this. He's 100 pounds heavier than me, and I injured mine walking through the woods hunting, and I slipped going downhill. So I grabbed a tree, and I had a pop. All right, he's 100 pounds heavier than
What the
me.
hell is
Now
that to do with
imagine-
Caden Proctor?
Hold on.
I was
So
waiting for
now,
it.
now you've got a guy
God,
100 pounds heavier, and he's stiff arming somebody out here that weighs 350 pounds, and they pop it backwards. So it could be a hyper extension, or it could be a
Yeah.
partial tear.
Yeah,
I hope it's not a tear.
yeah,
Tear is bad news.
Exactly.
yeah. I
We
mean,
just-
I
we-
personally don't think it's anything
do-
like season.
No,
ending,
I
but
don't.
We'll see.
Please
I
don't.
could be
We
wrong.
don't.
I'm not a medical
We,
doctor.
we damn sure don't want a labrum tear, because that's the hardest.
Oh, that's bad.
It was
yeah.
just, I mean, it's kind of hard to gauge because it showed him multiple times on camera on the sideline, kind of
Yeah,
shooting the shit with folks, and he didn't seem like it
No,
was
he wasn't.
anything to be that concerned about.
and he had on the unity shirt for when bad kids get together, so he looked okay.
Yeah. So I'm about to
Bad
ask you
kids get
guys,
together.
outside of Keon Sabb and Ryan Williams, like who really stood out to you? But chat, you guys got to tell me your answer. I know Ryan Williams was a standout. I know Keon Sabb was a standout.
Right.
Who else stood out to you defensively and offensively in this game?
I thought Jihad Campbell was lightning fast out there.
Yeah,
he was
our-
first play of the
was.
game. He was.
Our linebackers are way better than I thought they
They're
were. gonna be.
fast.
They
Yeah.
are very fast.
They are fast.
Yeah.
Q
Yeah.
Robinson had a
Um,
great up and under move on that right tackle. Whipped
Yeah.
him.
Justice was great.
Yeah.
We played 5
Um,
running backs. Had multiple carries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go on defense. I thought Q Rob was on fire.
Rusaw looked good early too.
Rusaw and
Oh,
James
yeah.
Smith.
Yeah. James Smith.
So,
was good, too.
so a lot,
Yeah.
a lot of the big guys on defense were getting their name called a lot. I love that. On offense, other than Jalen and Ryan, I'd go with the collective of the O line. They did good.
They did,
They
and
did-
they
they-
shored up. They shored up that left side as the game went on, which was because
They-
that's what
yeah.
Western Kentucky was doing. They were bringing pressure on that left side.
That's
they had
right.
a couple of free rushers in the middle, like in the gaps and stuff, but ultimately they were trying to rush that left side. Now I will say I've been talking so much stuff about Kendrick Law. He got one touch this game, but what did he do with it? He took it for 22 yards and a touchdown.
Sick.
Watch that dude as the season progresses and they utilize him
I
more.
think we
Absolutely.
had.
Telling
I
you,
think we had
He
a
shoot-
couple
He
of
shot out of a cannon.
receivers. I think there were a couple of receivers that got one touch for one touchdown.
he got, no,
Kendrick
he's
was
got-
one.
touch. We actually only had 2 receivers get touchdowns. That was Ryan Williams and Kendrick Law.
Okay.
So now a bunch of receivers got touches. Kobe Prentice was the most targeted. He had 3 receptions for 43 yards. Caleb Odom had 2 for 23. That was in mop-up duty. Interestingly, Jeremy Bernard only had 1 catch in the game.
Didn't even need him.
Yeah, that's true. CJ McLean had 1 for 8. Everybody, in terms, I'm going to take Josh Quavis.
I mean, we were scoring so quick. Our play count is way down too. So you're not going to we're not going to have a lot of
we were
high
had the
volume
ball for 8
receptions,
minutes.
high
had the ball for
carries. I
8 minutes in the first half, and
mean, they had a 21 play, 11-minute drive, and then we got the ball and scored on the second play, 80-yard run, touchdown, defense right
2
back on
plays.
the field. It was like, damn.
Yep. Hey, I'm already saying it. I'm already saying it, man. Better. Sab is greater than Downs.
Yes.
I know
Yes.
it.
Sab,
I know it. I know people want us to get over that, but Caleb Downs went chasing some money, and I saw some videos of him laying flat on his face and missing tackles today. Just saying, but
yeah.
I mean,
I'll
wish
say
we could
this.
do not the best.
He ain't wearing crimson. Fuck him.
So the second
There we go.
Ryan
Keon
Williams-
Sabb. Back on Keon Sabb. That's who we're talking about.
Yeah. All right. Keon Sabb, fantastic. The second Ryan Williams touchdown of Ryan Williams, everybody's going to be talking about, look at Hollywood shake and shimmy and move, and he is good.
Yeah.
But that pass that Jalen Milroe threaded a
Dude, that was
needle,
gorgeous. Yeah, that was a gorgeous.
that was
ball.
that should have been a 12-yard gain, and it turns into a touchdown.
You can see, it wasn't on full display, but you can see, if Jalen Milroe calms himself down, and he is in the game. He read through his progressions. He saw that. He threw the ball before he was open, and bam, nailed him. And by the way, for a 17-year-old, what is he, 170 pounds? Wide receiver that everybody was saying would get busted up.
Yeah,
he,
All right, on his first
139 yards and 2 freaking touchdowns. So
on his first touchdown, he's like Henry Ruggs. His first 12 catches are going to be touchdowns. His first touchdown that Ryan caught, Jalen let go of the ball before Ryan's head ever turns around.
Yeah,
and I think Jalen underestimated Ryan's speed because Ryan had to stutter step to come to the ball. And but that was a smooth
coverage on that too.
That was a smooth play on both parts. People are going to say, "Oh yeah, he underthrew him," and no, I don't think he knew how fast that kid is. And by the way,
clearly, Western Kentucky busted the coverage. But when that happens, you're supposed to take
advantage,
pay dearly with it, and that's what we did.
But I will say, I'm always careful with that because I remember, was it 2016 we opened against USC?
Mm-hmm.
Was that where they were crawling out of the cage and all that, and we drubbed their ass?
And Jalen Hurts had an astounding game against them. But I went back and rewatched it, and I noticed that everybody he was hitting for these plays, they were all big chunk plays, and they were all in busted coverages. So when it actually came down to Jalen Hurts having to move us down the field in a season, he struggled with that. And so I'm careful. I'm careful with that. I have much more confidence in Jalen Milroe at this level than I did with Jalen Hurts. But Jalen Hurts did the right thing. He stayed and got better. And
that was Jalen Hurts' first year.
Yes, yeah. I'm not knocking the dude, man. He did the right thing. He stayed. He got better. I mean, he's a freaking star.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
If it wasn't for him, we lose to Georgia in that SEC championship game in 2019.
That's right. I would
or 2018, whatever.
18.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I just did the math in my head. It was like, wait, that doesn't count.
But I'll say this.
Swift.
Yes. On every run, he's faster than everybody by leaps and bounds.
I want to say he reminds me.
He fires out of there
Newton a little bit in the sense that his stride is so smooth and long. It's like he's gliding. It's not like he's sprinting. It's like he's gliding.
He looks like Smitty when he runs, like a gazelle.
Yeah, that's a very good example. Yeah, very good.
And he's so fast. Cam was deceptively fast. You'd see him outrun angles, and you're like, man, he must be a lot faster than he looks. But Milroe looks fast on TV. when
Yeah.
he decides, when he's like, that's the crease, I'm gone. I mean, he's shot out
Yeah.
of a cannon.
Well,
And
Like
guys,
then
that
you add-
touchdown, that first touchdown, it was like he made
Yeah.
one cut. He was at the 25-yard line. And it was like he touchdown right there. He made that one cut 20 yards out. And I was like, that was the touchdown. Right when he made that cut, he knew right then.
hey, did Kentucky ever kick off, or is that still in delay?
I don't think so.
I
Let
don't
me know in
know.
the chat, guys.
But
Looks like
yeah, Milrose speed, when you combine Milrose speed with his strength,
yes.
if he's full speed, whoever tries to tackle him is getting hurt. And we saw that a few times tonight
yeah,
as well.
dude, my biggest
Notre,
thing-
Notre Dame sealing this up.
I'm just so impressed, and I know we kind of already talked about this, but I am so impressed with how fast that defense was moving around. I haven't seen Bama's
Absolutely.
defense that quick since 2016. I'm not saying they're going to be as good as the 2016 defense. I'm just saying they were so fast, and yeah, there were a couple of busts here or there, a couple of missed tackles, but ideally, if somebody bounced off of somebody, there were two more guys right there, two more red jerseys right there to put them on the ground. And
Well,
then,
and
as they
yes.
got more in the game, man, they were just shutting it down, and it was fun to watch. Fun to watch.
and the Jeff and I were talking about this, is that it. All right, let me back up. Trevor Maddich this morning on the radio, he said with Saban, the philosophy was do your job.
Yes,
And this philosophy is enjoy doing your job.
yes,
And what so we're seeing these guys just swarm with intensity and anger, and they're so it's we had joyless murder ball for a while. I'm saying this is joyful murder ball, because our guys are having fun beating the crap out of somebody else.
Well, yeah. I'll also say, if you saw the depth chart, there were a lot of oars on there, which tells me that
Lots.
some of these positions are still up for grabs based off of what dudes are doing. So there's live competition going on.
You're seeing the preseason. These 3 weeks and then a bye is your preseason 3. Then you have a breather, and then the season starts September 28th with Georgia. But you're basically seeing the preseason. All these guys playing, all these depth. We're drilling deep down the depth chart tonight, and you're going to see it again next week.
Intentionally. Yeah.
Yes, you're going
I
to see
think you're
5
gonna
running
see it.
backs. You're going to see a lot of guys catch balls over the next 2
What
games.
we saw, 7 or 8 receivers tonight.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of the same thing in Wisconsin. Based off of Wisconsin, was it yesterday?
Agreed.
Wisconsin's not
The-
good.
That's the third and final preseason game before we start the season.
And that's excuse me, that's what we've been talking about, the way the schedule sets up perfectly for Alabama to prep and get ready for that Georgia game. I will say that Georgia today offensively, Clemson was laying some lumber to those guys. I mean, Clemson brought it to them offensively. Clemson's offense just couldn't do enough to complement its defense, so the defense eventually wore down, and Georgia could do whatever the hell they wanted to. They're not going to be able to do that against Alabama, because I don't know if you guys also noticed the rotation on the defensive line that was going on in this game.
Yes.
There were fresh
I saw
legs in there a lot.
Yeah.
And man, that pass rush was a lot better and more aggressive than I thought it was going to be too. Yes, Tim, I agree with you. They absolutely did look suspect on offense today.
They did. Well, we said this a few weeks ago. You put pressure on that offense, and they are average. When they can go at will, they look amazing. But last year we had one game that Georgia had pressure, and they lost that game.
Well, you go back and look at every close game they played, Missouri, Auburn. That's because those teams were able to generate pressure. You saw it today. Carson Beck still was doing it. There were a couple of times where Clemson got to him, and kind of the pocket started collapsing, and Carson Beck was off. And it wasn't
Carson Beck is not their playmaker. He is a distributor of the ball, but he is not their playmaker.
Yeah. It wasn't until Clemson's defense was just exhausted. That's when
they got gassed. You could see that
doing their thing, man. And
I think it was 28-0 that they scored them in the second half or something like that.
I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I think Georgia loses 2, maybe 3 games this year in the regular season.
Texas,
I don't know about 3.
and Alabama. I think
Okay.
Texas and Alabama, and don't they go to
Knoxville.
Knoxville? That's going to be a tough one.
Texas is going to be a problem this year.
Texas
A&M just lost by 10, but I've got comments on what I think that game was.
Like Quinn Ewers that guy throws a beautiful ball, and
Yeah,
it
he
was
does.
on display today.
Yeah,
Per-
Texas is going to be
yeah.
an issue. Luckily, we
You-
don't have
you-
the regular season.
And we saw it last year. If he can get protection, Quinn Ewers is a playmaker.
Yeah.
And
Look, Case
Yeah.
Spray, don't let the almost 80 points. Look, I think last year Ole Miss scored 77 in their season opener, between 77
Yeah.
and 83, and they were good last year, but in the big games they were not. And so,
Right.
I mean, we held them to
Because
10
they-
points last year. They scored 10 points against us
Yeah.
last year.
yeah,
they keep bringing their popcorn, but they
Yeah.
don't bring their players.
Yeah, don't buy into those big giant scores. I mean, you should be cautious about Alabama too. It's Western Kentucky. Let's not
Yeah.
blow
But
it too
what-
far out of proportion. But
What were we looking for versus Western Kentucky? And we've
Consistency.
seen
Exactly
we
what we
saw.
saw.
What we saw was what we were looking for.
yes,
Yes.
You know, y'all got on me.
Blowout
and you're-
with a lot of mistakes and a lot of sloppy play. What's up, Howard? A blowout with a lot of sloppy play, a lot of mistakes, a lot of
Yeah.
fixable
Yep.
stuff.
So
but like
I
you guys
said,
said,
I said it would be a low score. I said it'd be 45-20, and y'all got on me Thursday night saying you're thinking about Nick Saban
told you it's
football,
going to be a bigger score.
and look at there, 63-0.
Told you it was going to be a much bigger score.
Yeah,
And so-
it should have been 70, but Coach DeBoer took a bow.
Howard, there.
Howard, this is an Alabama show. We
yeah,
don't care.
yeah. Look, man, they're
Go to
covered.
Auburn board if you want to know if Auburn got players.
Don't listen to Jeff. He's grumpy. It's
I love you,
No,
Howard.
look, I get it. Look, Howard, listen, man. Auburn is buying everybody they can right now. They're going to flip Deuce Knight. They're possibly going to flip Naeem Offer, and then they flip somebody from Miami today, or they're going to flip somebody from Miami. That's three guys right there. They only have three more scholarships to fill. And
That's
so, and keep in mind, they flipped Naeem Offer. That's going to likely put them at one in the recruiting rankings. But like we tell you guys all the time, like none of this is done. Stuff's got to play out on the field. Auburn starts losing football games. Guys are going to go like. There's a reason Auburn brought all these dudes to watch them play Alabama A&M.
Yeah,
There's a reason they brought them to a night game.
Oh,
against
yeah.
Alabama A&M
so they
and
could
bring them to
experience the
Auburn.
Auburn
Absolutely.
family, the Auburn experience, the Tiger Walk, and all the
Yeah.
and they have a cool game day experience. But when they lose 4 games this year, those 4 and 5 stars are going to be like, I don't want to play with mediocrity.
Yeah. Or they're going to go get their check for a year and then leave. And so Nick Saban said
Yep.
it today on College Game Day. He was like, what did he say? He said, if you're going to pay players, you better pay the right ones, or what
Because
is
you're SOL if you ain't.
You're shit out of luck.
And he's talking about teams like Ohio State, Auburn. You saw what happened to FSU against Georgia Tech and Ireland. That was a direct result of them being a portal team. You cannot be a strict NIL or portal team and expect long-term success. If that was the case, Hugh Freeze would have won natties when he was at Ole Miss because he was recruiting just as well.
He should have.
You saw tonight why Roydell Williams is at Florida State. You
Yes.
saw several instances tonight of why Roydell Williams is at Florida State.
Yep. You better
Yeah.
believe, man. Yeah, somebody goes to a school for a check, especially if they're going to get overpaid.
That depth chart.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen when things don't work out how they think it should work out? Bye.
All right. Ole Miss won 76-0 over Furman. Okay, Furman is a pre-law school. They're not a football school.
Well, I mean,
Aren't they out of Atlanta?
It's in somewhere in South Carolina.
either way,
Okay.
it doesn't matter. It was a terrible.
Oregon finally pulled out a win over Idaho by
What's the Michigan
24.
Fresno State score looking like? Is that done?
Let me look that up. It's not showing up on.
I'm watching
my,
Weber State
clicker.
in Washington.
Why?
yeah.
I was
Um,
trying not to be on my phone too long looking for a game, so I just clicked the first one.
Well, that's you got a double alt on that one with Weber State and Washington. I think they call
That's
it
worse.
Weber.
That's almost as bad as playing Alabama A&M or Furman.
All right, Michigan Michigan beat Fresno 30-10.
That's good. So they pulled it out. I'm trying to see if it's
UCLA. Hey, listen to this. UCLA squeaked by Hawaii 16-13.
Let's go Rainbow Warriors. UK.
Yeah, I love
UCLA's coach now.
Finally kicked off. Thank you, Keith.
UCLA. I mean, it's like Chip Kelly's nephew's cousin's
Is he still there?
third.
Or did
I
they get
don't
rid of him?
No, Chip Kelly's offensive
Kelly
coordinator
quit.
at Ohio State.
Yeah, offensive coordinator.
Oh,
He-
yeah.
he-
I remember. That
he
was weird.
quit.
Everybody's like,
That was
wow.
weird.
Yeah, that's crazy. But anyway, let's talk more about the Tide because that's what everybody's here for.
Because that's the best topic ever.
To discuss Alabama's performance against the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky University. What the hell's a Hilltopper anyway? We discussed this on the show, and apparently they named themselves that because their school is built on top of a hill. So
And they've
cool.
got a big
Very
red fuzzy grimace.
Did you guys see the I can't remember if it was Justice Haynes, I think it was Jam Miller touchdown and the security guards ushering him into the end zone?
The yellow shirt.
It's hilarious. Yeah, the yellow
You got in the yellow shirt? Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, glasses. He's like, come on. Come on.
Come on, you got this.
What's that link? What's going on, brother?
And you got the big red fuzzy thing on the sideline with that permanent grin going.
Yeah, he's like this. Oh,
Like get his hands up like
yeah,
that.
he's like,
Yeah.
he lost.
Well, at least they got paid $1.5 million. That's good.
Good for them. And they got a freaking hole stomped in their face. But
You know, this
I
is
love every
this
day.
is, and this is the third time TJ Finley has
I
come
was just
up
about to say that, man.
aught versus the Tide.
He had one more shot. And
Look,
missed his
He,
chance to
he
blow.
played exactly how you expect a guy with hair like that to be his
Yeah.
age at this stage in his career to wear hair like that and look at that ridiculous. He
When you're
played exactly how you would
yeah.
expect somebody to play that came to a real football game looking like that.
When you're 34
He's like 28
you
years
don't
old.
need that guy.
He's an adult. He's a grown man.
Who's
Yeah.
older,
His fifth-
him or the tight end
His
for
fourth
Miami?
school in 5 years, and he's gonna walk around with his hair like that on national
Yeah,
TV.
doesn't Miami have the guy that's been there? It's his 9th year playing.
You're
Yeah,
the
he's-
quarterback of a football team, man. It's different rules.
Look, man, TJ, I don't feel bad for TJ Finley at all. I
I
mean,
don't feel bad at all.
he had a couple of drives where he moved the ball a little bit, but him,
Yeah.
trying to talk smack and then Auburn
Yeah.
fans feeding into that, he had 92 yards passing. He went 18 for 31, 2 interceptions.
He was gone before the half.
Awful.
TJ
Well, the
That's all
other
you
guy-
need to know. They
the other
pulled
guy
his
had
ass
a
in the
completion,
second quarter.
But he
He's
threw for
probably a
11.
very, very nice young man. Well,
He almost had
Adult.
3 picks. Stab should have picked him the third time if he turns the right
That's
way,
right.
or not the right way, but if he turns the other way.
yeah.
That's
but-
true.
I mean, he might be a great guy, but he went into a situation that is wood meeting buzzsaw.
Do you guys want to hear an amazing stat? One that I don't know we would have expected coming into this game? Western Kentucky rushed for, looks like 45 yards.
I believe it.
That's it.
I think they had 145 total yards.
Yeah,
At
man.
one point, they flashed it up. We were at 601. They were at 145.
Golly, dude. They ran the ball 26 times for 45 yards. They got just over 2 yards a carry.
Yeah.
But
You need
that's
4.
that's what we needed to see against a way weaker opponent. We needed to see domination like that.
Yeah.
Shut out. 2 yards a carry.
Absolutely.
Can't pass the
Absolutely.
ball. Like, this is what we need to see, especially the first time in the system, knew everything. We needed a performance like this with a lot of mistakes, but still.
You remember last year how the expectation for Georgia fans was that their defense didn't allow a touchdown? Like
Yeah.
they would be, I mean, even if they're blowing somebody out, they'd be on their feet screaming if it's in the fourth quarter and the opposing team is in the red zone. I feel like after that one stop that Alabama had today, that is now going to be the expectation. And fans are going to, I mean, they're going to expect shutouts every single. we know that's not realistic every game.
Look,
but
Kane
This
Womack has that intensity.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't get over how fast and aggressive this defense is, man.
They
just
were-
watching
they
this,
were-
man.
It was very similar. You know, it was a different style back in 16, but so similar to the anger and the aggression of 16.
Do you think it burns them anywhere on the schedule?
There's good.
There's
Yeah,
always that chance.
Yeah. I mean, there were
There's
definitely some
always a
plays
chance
where
of
there was
that.
over pursuit.
you're gonna have a point where that anger and aggression
They were
burns. You get burnt for a couple of scores. You're gonna have
and
that.
good coaches, good coaching, will
yeah.
exploit that.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
look,
if we do X, they always over pursue, and then the backdoor cut will be there, and then whatever.
If,
So,
if they called Malachi Moore for targeting on that one play, I was ready to
Oh yeah.
I was going to lose my mind, man.
I mean, the hit on Ty Simpson wasn't even roughing the passer, so I don't know what they were. Why they threw the flag there.
That crew was bad. That was really.
They weren't as bad as the Jason Alter crew.
Well, no, but it
and-
wasn't good, man. They were.
And
You could
I'll say this: the first half of the Georgia Clemson game,
agree
that
with
crew was very much anti-Clemson. There were a couple of penalties that were anti-Clemson, and I looked at my dad and I was, "That's not a penalty. Back them up," and it was,
It's fine.
was-
I mean, Clemson wasn't doing
but
anything defensively. Anyway.
Clemson wasn't going to win that game on those two drives.
What's the biggest takeaway you guys have from today? It could be Alabama. It could be like big picture, the rest of the country. Like, what's the one big takeaway that you guys have from today?
I would say a series of things. Georgia is what we thought they were. They're pretty damn good. Their offense is what it is. It's beatable.
No,
Penn State, West Virginia, that was two teams going against each other, and the better one won. Vanderbilt is probably going bowling because they won today. They're going to probably find 5 more wins and go bowling because of today.
that was probably my big one. That was the only real upset today, right?
Yeah, and then if you're a Florida fan, you're horribly upset. But
Oh yeah, but it wasn't an upset.
That wasn't
you
an
know,
upset.
I would say for this week so far, tap the brakes on Loving Colorado because they beat an FCS team that almost beat them. And then, the Notre Dame Texas A&M game, you've got really 2 equally matched teams and one team won. So you didn't see. I'd say the standout would have been the Clemson still sucks, and Vanderbilt did something I didn't think Vanderbilt could do.
I just put the link in the chat. If anybody wants to, feel free to hop in here. Tell us your thoughts, what you think. Jeff, if you'll help out with that if somebody pops backstage. Thank you,
Gotcha.
sir. Appreciate it.
I got
My biggest takeaway was seeing our boy Cruz
Yeah,
chilling with Kristen Saban
In the
and
booth.
Coach. Yeah, up in the booth, man. I don't think I've ever pulled my phone out so fast. I said, "Is that Cruz? That's Cruz." I just pulled it out and started snapping pictures.
Cruz, who's supposed to be on our show Thursday, by the way.
Yeah,
That
Cruz will be
same
with
Cruz. So
Yeah,
thanks
we're
for
hoping to get him on Thursday.
sitting in the box with Nick Saban watching Alabama.
Like Nick right behind him. And I'm
Yeah,
like, I'd be
yeah.
turning around every 30 seconds going, so coach, what do you think about that?
down for me? What'd you just see?
Yeah. What'd you just see there? Here's what I saw. Why didn't you do this last year? I thought last year you should have done this, and this, but you didn't. Why didn't you do that? But then
Because
they
I
cut
think
to it
it was-
again.
Said about Jalen Miller.
Yeah,
I think
and then
he
they
had
cut to
thoughts
the
on
booth
that.
again, and I'd be out of there, and it'd be one empty seat in between the two.
Yeah, I think he had thoughts about that pretty wealthy blonde that was sitting next to him.
Well, I'm not going to say anything on that because that's his personal life, Bill.
So,
I just thought it was cool that we,
It was on TV.
I just to see Cruz in there, man. That was pretty.
So when we get him on here Thursday night, we're going to ask him. So tell us about.
no, we're not.
Yeah.
No, we're not. I know.
We'll not be asking him that.
We're
Absolutely
gentlemen.
not.
We are gentlemen.
We're going to talk about Alabama.
Me too, Kat. That's a really I did see that. He got up over there talking with Tyrion and
That was
Yeah,
awesome.
they were having
Yeah,
good
that
time.
was cool. Yeah, that was a good moment.
And your dog is cute, Cat.
lot of alums were there today. Will Too Real, Goat was
Yeah.
in the house. Terry and Kool-Aid was there.
Where's Bryce
Barrett
Cole?
Jones was in town this week.
Bryce Cole
Yeah.
there, man. Why don't Tua ever
The,
come to games?
Tua's in the gym, man, working out.
Oh, he ain't. Lie to me, man.
He's in the gym and Nick's working out.
Yeah.
That dude is put on some weight.
Yeah. What do you guys think about Milrose's hair?
That's
Threw me off
fun.
for a minute. His helmet sits kind of funny now. I don't know how I feel about it. So
I don't care. If he puts up 5 tubs a game, he can wear his hair wherever the hell he
yeah,
wants.
What do you think about the
The
captain?
record show. I like the C on his jersey. I like that. That was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I like that.
Oh man, I'm gonna look at something just because it'll be fun. I don't want to say anything just yet because I could just. All right, so you guys know Barners are very boisterous about Cam Coleman and them getting him and us getting Ryan Williams. I know you're gonna like this, Jeff. Though, okay. Now, keep in mind they played Alabama A&M, who I believe.
Where is that school anyway? Where's Alabama A&M?
Huntsville.
Yeah.
Huntsville. Okay, all right. Couldn't remember
Well,
where
let's, let's check the stats, guys. How did Cam Coleman do against Alabama A&M? He had 2 catches and a touchdown.
140 yards and 2 touchdowns.
62
Nope.
yards.
Oh,
Yeah.
30 yards a catch. That's not bad.
I mean, come on, you got to pump those. Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump that up.
Yeah. I kind of like my freshman wide receivers to do 2 for 139 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm cool with 70 yards a grab too.
I mean, that's fine. Yeah, do that
That'll
too.
work for me. That'll work for me.
What about how did I don't want to. I was going to say, how did Peyton Thorne do? But I don't really care.
Oh, I'm sure he did fine. It's Alabama
Yeah.
A&M.
They scored 73 points. They sure
Yeah,
somewhere.
he threw it for 322 yards and 4 touchdowns on 21 attempts.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, he's not going to
I
do
don't-
That's
that.
what he should have done.
Yeah, it's Alabama
Exactly.
A&M.
It was a scrimmage. He should have scrimmaged well.
He did.
I wish I hadn't brought that up.
We're a 6 o'clock kickoff next week, right? South Florida's 6
Yes.
o'clock next
Yes,
week, right?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just so you know,
Well,
Alabama A&M went 5-6 last year. So just
Look, just so you know, next week versus Southern University of South Florida, it ain't gonna be no 17-14. It's gonna be ugly.
yeah.
Well,
somebody
let's
said-
hope it's not a hurricane going on right in the middle of the game either.
Yeah, that's true.
And a lacrosse player trying to play quarterback.
I was getting really pissy with them. They kept bringing that game up, and there were a lot of external
Yeah.
factors in that game as to why it went the way it did. The rain, it's uncharacteristic for Alabama to travel to Central freaking Florida or South Florida, excuse me, in September, and then Jalen Milroe did not play, and so they leave all that out, and that's fine.
That was
That's the Nick
team
Saban
that
I told you
that
so
game?
game.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly.
I told you so game.
that
Yeah,
was a big time ugly factors coming together, and the W was worth getting the W.
Absolutely.
But that will not happen this year, and it's going to be equally hot and humid next Saturday night in Tuscaloosa.
It's going to be warm. So I think just watching today, so I want to do this every week. I do have my playoff prediction that we did on the show last week. That stands, but I want to adjust. I think that your SEC championship game is going to be Texas and Alabama. At this point, I know it's only week 1. That's fine. It's going to change every week, but I do think it's going to be Texas and Alabama. Texas, to Jeff's point, they were actually very impressive today. They put together a complete game. Once they got it rolling, they put together a very complete game. I think Isaiah Bond had 1 touchdown. He did have a couple of drops, and Texas fans went nuts on him on social media, which is hilarious. But
Ewers had that one pass, that touchdown pass in the corner of the end zone. That was just,
was it the one to Isaiah Bond?
No, it was the other guy. It wasn't Bond. It was on the other side.
I didn't see it.
Can't remember, but it was just a sick throw. Just like a teardrop, just sick throw.
Yeah, I was probably watching. Probably watching Florida, Miami. So
Niblack's third on the tight end depth chart at Texas, by the way.
yeah, that's what grass ain't always greener. Keith, what do you mean? People going to take shots at Bama based on what, man? That's good, Cat. Based on what? Well, who's taking a shot at Bama and why? Like, here's the thing. Everybody, and Joey Galloway said it at halftime. Like, they said, what's the biggest takeaway from this college football weekend? He said, I want to see if Alabama, and he's talking in general, not just about Alabama. He said, I want to see if Alabama's still Alabama. They beat Western Kentucky in their season opener 63-0. Held them to 140-something yards of total offense. Jalen Milroe did his thing on the ground and in the air. The defense was lights out most of the game. They can say what they want, man. Auburn fans can say what they want to about scoring however many points. So can Ole Miss. But Alabama played a team that won 8 games last year in this opener. That has
a ball game.
That started a quarterback who has been a quarterback at 2 D1 schools. Look, man, like you can't really read
4 schools in 5 years. That guy.
Yeah.
Hey, Western Kentucky's a D1 school. They're just not Power
Good.
4 but
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm going to quote Barrett Jones on this.
Zach, needs to chill out.
All right.
Zach, you been in the sauce, buddy? Why are you
Yeah, I
listening
think
to JSU girls, bro?
Because they
Get
can
up in my neck
dance.
of the woods.
So if y'all remember, if y'all remember the Notre Dame Alabama game in 2012 in the Orange Bowl, and they're running in the tunnel,
Damn, what happened in that
it's
game?
kinda-
I can't remember.
it's kind of quiet, and you hear Barrett Jones go, "They signed up for 60." Right here, baby. 60 minutes.
That's right.
This is what you get.
Yeah, Link, we saw it, man. Don't
We ain't
stress
worried about it.
Jeff hates recruiting. Y'all ignore his pissy face.
No, I hate talking to Auburn on our Alabama show.
It's okay.
And let me tell you about the recruiting in
Like it or
Auburn.
not, they're part of our world.
They are.
said this-
You're right.
I said this.
They
I
are.
said this earlier today. I
Unfortunately.
don't
Yeah.
care what they recruit because they haven't proven they can develop jack squat.
Yeah, and
And
again, I
back
bet say
to-
it from blue in the face. There is
They haven't developed talent since Pat died.
What was that?
what the fuck just happened?
Stop the fire truck. What?
Bro, your internet is jacked.
Well, what I said was Auburn hasn't developed talent since Pat died. He's been gone 30 years.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, man. Like, and again, just even if they do flip Naeem Alford, first of all, it's one prediction. Even if they do flip him, like that prediction may change if he goes and visits Ohio State again. We have until December for recruiting to be figured out. Even if Auburn puts together a number 1 recruiting class and finishes with the number 1 recruiting class, they still have to develop that talent on the field and play a game. It's not like one number 1 recruiting class is going to come in and change the entire culture of a program.
No.
They have to do that consistently. And the way Auburn's spending money on this class, they can't do that every year. I don't care what
No.
school they are. You cannot afford to do that every year. They're blowing their load. They're shooting their wide on one freaking class. And again, Hugh Freeze has done this at Ole Miss. He did the same thing. He used all the things that he got in trouble for that are now legal. Well, some of them. And pulled these amazing
Hookers, maybe not, but
yeah, pulled these amazing classes in Ole Miss, and he never won the conference. I don't think he ever won his division. Obviously, never made a playoff, never went to a national championship game.
he doesn't care about any of that. He almost beat Saban 4 times. That's the
Yeah.
only thing that he can hang his hat on is being beaten Saban twice in a row. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's
If
never
you guys
won
saw-
jack shit outside of
Yeah.
that.
Auburn,
And I
Auburn
think
football-
Saban got championships both times.
Auburn football posted a video this morning, and the caption on the video was, "It's our time now." And it's very easy to dismiss that, but what they're saying is, well, Nick Saban's out of the picture. We're running this state. It's our show now. That's what that video is supposed to depict and entail. And that just tells you the culture of that program. Typically on a daily basis, unless it has to do with recruiting, I'm not concerned with what Auburn did in their football game. I'm telling you guys because I know you guys care. You guys want to talk about Auburn? Let's talk about Auburn. We'll talk about what they did to Alabama A&M. But ultimately, I don't give a crap about Auburn because outside of the Iron Bowl, they don't matter. They don't make the playoffs. They don't play in national championship games. They lose their ball games when they play in Birmingham.
That's a good
I can
freeze
tell
face.
I can
Two
tell you
faces
right
in a row.
right.
Mayor,
I can
Mayor
tell-
Bill.
I can tell you right
Oh.
now, I do not know who Auburn's playing next week, and nor do I care.
Probably another scrub.
Yeah, I don't care. It's a stat. That's all they are, is a stat.
I watch Georgia Water Boys. Here's the thing, guys. Like, Alabama just, like, something historic happened tonight in Alabama football history. Like, we just watched Alabama take the field and murder an opponent without Nick Saban on the sideline as the head coach.
On Saban Field.
What I was saying about Joey Galloway earlier, to come full circle, is he said, I want to see if Alabama's still Alabama. They are. Yes, there's a lot of things they need to work on. There's a lot of things that we saw that can be fixed, but that's the coaches, you better believe, will do that. They have the staff to do it. I saw Kalen DeBoer with his little freaking laminated notepad and his Sharpie just writing stuff down. Like, Alabama is still Alabama. They're still aggressive. They're still the team to beat in the SEC. They're still your reigning SEC champion.
Somebody at halftime said there were two coaches that I thought Alabama should go after, and I like the one they got. And the other was Lane Kiffin. I am very pleased this ain't Lane Kiffin. I'm very pleased what we've got on the staff, the intensity. Yeah.
Did you guys watch how he handled the headset issue at the beginning of the game?
That was awesome.
How he was handling
very carefully, very intently. I watched that. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I loved it. He was
He was pissed.
Yeah. But the way it was almost like a disappointed dad. You know, the way they kind of just, they stare at you and they glare, but they don't verbalize how, you just know by the look on, like, you could see it, man. But the fact he walks up to a ref and you could read his lips and he goes, or like, what is that BS or something like that? Like, you could read his
Well, he was like, ours is fine though.
Yeah.
I know you can't use it. And I'm like, that's not Bama's fault that Western Kentucky brought crap equipment and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Why is that our fault?
Exactly. He was like, tell them
they
to
show up
fix
and
their
their shoelaces are untied, so we have to untie all our shoelaces. Screw that. You buy better shoelaces. You just got to pay $1.5 million from us to come here, and you can't get equipment that works.
Yeah,
give me a break.
That's definitely something he does different than Nick Saban is. He doesn't swear.
Not yet. He hadn't had an archery crew yet. That'll change.
Yeah, that's coming, and that's coming.
coming.
I'm predicting the Tennessee game.
Mrs. DeBoer is gonna be like, I noticed a change in Kalen after 1 year in the SEC.
Kalen's a lot angrier when he comes home.
He drinks a lot more.
He's always checking the referee crew assigned to the game before the games now.
We have some broken doors now.
Well, guys, I think that's going to about do it for a wrap-up show. Alabama looked amazing. Just any final takeaways? Chat, you guys, any final things you want to?
I'm so
a lot of stuff to work on. To work on. Very sloppy, very undisciplined in areas. Just a lot of kinks to iron out that you'd expect in the first game of the first season in this new system on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, but very promising.
My man is telling truth. Absolutely.
Very promising.
If this is sloppy and
defense and aggression and physical, they were physical on defense. I really like that. So,
Bill, to your point, what you're about to say, if this is as sloppy as we're going to be all season, it's going to be a good year. It's going to be.
You can fix this. You can fix this sloppy and ugly.
Yeah.
We're going to face a lot better defenses as the year goes on, but we'll also have another game's worth of reps under our belt. Another game's worth of reps. Another game's worth of reps. It's all about reps.
Those reps are so important. I had to talk my dad off the ledge on that one. Man, first half, he said, "This looks like crap." I said, "It's the first quarter of the first game with a new coach."
It's all about reps.
Keep in mind, it had been storming and raining all day. The game ended up getting
field.
The head, like there was just. Also, one more thing before we go, I did notice Bryant-Denny Stadium sounded like straight ass on the TV. I don't know how loud.
I think it was the TV coverage. Because
that's
even when Nicholson would kick the ball for extra points, you couldn't hear the ball hit the foot.
Yeah.
And last year, you could sound like a punt when Will Riker would kick it. You know, it was much louder on the field, but you couldn't even hear the make contact. I think it was the mics on the field.
Yeah,
It looked full.
It was rocking. It was full.
It was
somebody,
quiet on TV. I think it was the gain was turned down on the field mics or on
Cruz posted
ambient mics.
a short.
Light.
Yeah, and it was rocking.
Yeah, it was. Okay. Yeah, y'all keep in mind if you're at the game, like, don't be. I saw a video. We showed the crowd, and there's some old guy just sitting there eating popcorn while everybody else is up.
Yeah,
don't be that guy, man.
That's
You
your
should go to
typical Bama
basketball
basketball attendee. Yeah,
Yep.
that's the guy you see on TV every pan of the camera because they don't know how to set the court up right. But anyway,
Yep. Get up, be loud. Keep in mind, most home games, there's going to be recruits there. A lot of these recruits that you guys want to talk about and you want us to talk about, Justice Terry, guys like that, they're there.
they're there.
Get up, show them why they need to stay. But
That's right.
all right, guys.
Hold tight, Link. Appreciate it, Link.
Want to know? Want to know? We'll
Want to know?
we'll see you Wednesday for After Dark.
Rolleth.
Roll it.